I'm Macy Egland. Long Islanders are watching as the overseas conflict with Iran ramps up this morning. The Associated Press says Iranian militias hit the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait overnight. It's the latest in an intensifying military campaign that has already seen at least 555 people killed in Iran. 3 American service members were killed in the conflict over the weekend.
As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation.
This is the second time in less than a year the U.S. and Israel combined attacks against Iran. In June, strikes weakened Iran's air defenses, military, and nuclear program. Hundreds marched in Manhattan yesterday to celebrate the death of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. They also praised the U.S. and Israel for the military strike on Saturday that killed him. You can read more about the Iran conflict and its effects here at home on our website, Newsday.com. Jury selection is expected this week in the trial of the man accused of killing an NYPD detective from Long Island. Guy Rivera is accused of gunning down Detective Jonathan Diller of Massapequa Park during a traffic stop in Queens nearly 2 years ago. If convicted of first-degree murder, Rivera faces life in prison without parole. The Riverhead woman accused of killing her newborn daughter in 1993 is expected to be arraigned today. This is the original Newsday article from when it happened. According to court records, Denise Merker admitted to killing the baby and leaving her body in a garbage bag in Calverton. A mastic man allegedly hit another car while fleeing a traffic stop in a stolen U-Haul. Police say Gerald Matson took off in Patchogue yesterday and then hit another car while going the wrong way on Express Drive North in Holtzville. Matson and his passenger were later found in Farmingville. They're due to be arraigned today. The AMC in Huntington is closed for repairs. The multi-screen theater on Wall Street shut down last week to undergo plumbing renovations. It's expected to reopen later this month. All right, let's talk about your Monday forecast now. A cold start to the work week today, and we've got a messy morning commute tomorrow. Today, it is mostly sunny, but cold. Highs near 30 degrees. It'll feel more like the teens, though, chilly out there. Tomorrow, rain is likely for the first part of the day, and we could see some flakes mixed in. Unfortunately, we've got more rain chances later this week as you take a look at your 7-day forecast. But hey, at least we're in the 40s. And this weekend, look at that, cloudy, but Sunday could be in the 50s.
Long Island weather is brought to you by PTRC.
Hello, I'm Doug Geed. Affordability and commuting are 2 of the biggest hurdles, among many others, for businesses looking to hire workers here on Long Island. Here's a deeper dive into a recent poll.
Difficult for us to find any skilled labor.
It's a headache many businesses on Long Island are facing, including Site One, a wholesaler that supplies landscape material to contractors and municipalities.
Many of the positions that we fill come spring are seasonal. So it's difficult to find young, qualified staff to work with our customers.
It's a similar story for Stephen Griffith, owner of a Hauppauge-based business that designs and creates exhibits for trade shows. He's got job openings for a variety of different skill sets and is having trouble filling them.
We're dealing with competing with wages, health insurance, the benefit packages and stuff that we're offering. We are getting some applicants, but some of them are just not meeting the criteria, or you're overpaying a great deal.
45% of businesses on Long Island say they're having trouble filling open positions. That's according to a new survey of more than 300 business leaders on the island. They cited housing and transportation as the 2 top issues that make it hard to attract workers and hard to do business here in general. 45% of those surveyed also said they were not very confident that local governments on the island will be able to improve the business climate. The same survey a year ago found that 54% of business leaders expected the economy to improve this year. But in this new survey, only 25% said they actually think it has improved.
Right now, there's what I'm calling a retrenchment of spirit. They just don't feel as good about the economy today as they did a year ago. Basically, they're telling us that they don't feel as though government, the federal, the state, or even local, clearly understand what it takes for these businesses to be successful.
And joining me now to dig more into this issue is Newsday's business reporter, James T. Medore. Stacy Sykes is Vice President of Government Affairs and Communications with the Long Island Association. And Don Levy, Director of the Siena Research Institute. All right, let's start with you, James. So what are you hearing from business leaders? I know you speak with them every day on your beat. What are their concerns?
In the last few months, I've heard a lot about the cost of health insurance. And what does an employer do? How much do you pass along to your employee? Do you reach a tipping point where the employee says, I can't work here anymore, I've got to get another job? Or I was offered a job by this company and I can't take it. In talking to Jeff DeVoli, who's a partner with PKF O'Connor Davies, the accounting firm, who helped sponsor the poll, he said to me, that's the number one issue, health insurance. What am I going to do as an employer to grapple with double-digit increases?
Yeah, and so many job searchers also, health is like a big thing. Do you find certain sectors of the economy in the island hiring right now?
Yes, actually, according to the New York State Department of Labor, over the last year, the sector that's hired the most people is social assistance. That's daycare centers, senior care, and rehabilitation. That's followed by private schools, and then hospitals, and professional and business services. So that would be accounting firms, consultants, lawyers, and finally, nursing homes and assisted living facilities.
Okay, it surprised me a little. I thought health would be number one, but it's kind of third there with the hospitals. Okay. All right, Don, let's get to you. That poll, very, very interesting. A lot of interesting tidbits in there. It shows Long Island employers really having difficulty finding those skilled workers. How does that compare with previous polls on the island here?
One of the things that we saw this year was that amongst business leaders, they give some negative grades to the island. They say that there's less of an ample supply of skilled workers ready to step in and contribute. Right now, employers, they hire when they have to. They hire when that need is pronounced. But right now they're telling us that there just simply aren't enough. Over half, 56%, say that that's a challenge for them, that there aren't enough skilled workers ready to step in and immediately contribute. And unfortunately, when we ask them to grade the workforce on things like professionalism, initiative, even on skills like writing skills or verbal expression skills, they give the folks that they do see walking in the door poor grades.
And I've heard some employers say they're overpaying too just to get someone there.
Yeah, absolutely. They say that it's very competitive when they do find someone that they want. And they look at the costs. They look at the healthcare costs. They look at the compensation costs. They feel as though many of the folks who walk in and ask for a job are unrealistic about compensation. So at this point, fewer employers are saying that they're going to hire this year. We're down this year to only 27% of Long Island business leaders say they plan to hire. Last year, that number was 44% who intended to add people to their workforce.
Interesting, and I'm sure the need is still there to hire. But and Don, lastly, did the poll give you any indication of the factors making it so difficult for employers to find workers?
Well, a couple of the things that struck them. They're concerned about an aging workforce. Over half, 52%, say that the workforce is aging out, and that young people, that sweet spot that everybody wants to hire, a young person who's going to have the energy and the recent training to come in and contribute. 54%, over half, say they're having problems attracting those young workers for a variety of reasons. Most dramatically, the cost of housing. Availability and cost of affordable housing, they say, is a detriment to them being able to recruit and or retain those vital young workers.
Stacy, I'm sure your LIA members are echoing those same things, right?
Yeah, so the Long Island Association has thousands of members spanning all industry sectors and sizes. We have been advocating for Long Island's economic growth for the past 100 years. And we have been hearing that businesses have been having issues with attraction and retention of workers. And our economic challenges as a region go hand in hand with the workforce challenges. We have a crisis of affordability. Everybody is talking about it now, but the cost of living on Long Island is too high to retain workers. Just December of 2025, the median price of a home in Nassau County was $835,000, and in Suffolk County around $700,000. I know Dr. Levy mentioned this, but this is a real issue for businesses who are trying to look for workers and retain their workers on Long Island. The other two things we're hearing about is high turnover. So because of the affordability issues, employees are prioritizing cash flow over longer term benefits like pensions and healthcare and 401ks. So that causes higher turnover at companies. And then the third is a lack of awareness about other types of career opportunities. James talked about healthcare and education, which are our leading industry sectors, but there are also opportunities in sectors like manufacturing and the trades that require specific skills, and I think more awareness of those opportunities would help employ more people on Long Island.
Yeah. Do you find an optimism or a pessimism or all over the board when you talk to your members?
I think it's a concern. Like they're concerned, just what the survey found that Dr. Levy was talking about, there's a concern about being able to meet their workforce needs, because for our region to address our affordability and cost of living crisis, we have to grow and we have to create jobs. And it's hard for businesses to expand and create jobs if they have difficulty filling positions.
Yeah, so I want to talk about solutions. How do we get out of this? The high cost of living's been around forever. I mean, when I was right out of college, I'm like, how am I ever going to afford to live here? You know, that sort of thing. What are some solutions, do you think, James?
One of the key issues that is an advantage to Long Island is we have a lot of training programs, whether it's at the community college level, it's union apprenticeship programs, but there's not a lot of connection between the training programs and the needs of employers. And one of the big pushes led by the LAA, led by Representative Tom Swazi, is to bring people together, to create a central database where employers can go, where potential employees can go, and find out where are the jobs and where are the training programs. One thing to remember is that Long Island has about 300,000 businesses. More than 90% of them have less than 20 employees. So they're small businesses. You have a few people doing lots of different things at a business. You don't have an HR director. It's often the company president who's also hiring. So it's really important to have resources to help these small businesses who are literally struggling every day just to keep the door open.
Don, in terms of the poll, did you get a feel for what they feel could be done to help the situation? I mean, house prices are just not going to get lower. Taxes, transportation suddenly is not going to be like, a loss of traffic. Or are they pessimistic about it?
Well, they're calling for some solutions. 1/3 of the business leaders that we interviewed is calling on government on all levels to engage in workforce development. There are programs, but they're calling on more internship programs, more support to get workers ready to come in and contribute right away. Also, while housing prices are not likely to come down tomorrow, they'd like to see some progress. They'd like to see there to be development of housing, whether it's 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, that could possibly provide places for these young people. And the other issue that seems to be that maybe falls on employees rather than employers is there's a decision to be made. When we ask people, what are the assets of being an employee on Long Island? Overwhelmingly, they say the quality of life, the recreational opportunities, the small town feel. It's a great place to live and raise a family, but the but comes in immediately only if you can afford it. So there's still a choice that each individual employee is going to make. Do they want to invest their time, their energy, to become part of the life on Long Island that they enjoy, that their parents perhaps enjoyed and loved? It comes with the cost of finding a way to afford it.
Something that jumped out at me, the poll, and I forget the percentage, but it was very high. Despite the complaints, employers said if they were going to start their business over again, they would stay on Long Island. Did that surprise you at all, or is that something you find in other polls?
Well, we found that over and over again here on Long Island. We haven't found it in some other places. Long Islanders love Long Island. And I think it's that spirit that of the folks who are the CEOs, of the folks who already own their home, they say it's a great place to live. The problem at hand is how can they bring this younger generation to achieve that same component of the Long Island American dream.
Stacey, moving forward, it's a hard question to answer, but what do you see happening in 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road? Improvements?
So the Long Island Association this week issued our advocacy agenda for 2026.
Okay.
It's our policy priorities on the federal, state, and local levels of government. And there are solutions out there to address our affordability. There are proposals at the state level to try to streamline the process for building new housing. There's infrastructure, because to build new housing, we need infrastructure support. And in terms of the workforce, communication is definitely key. So James mentioned, there are so many wonderful programs across Long Island, and the LIA is working to connect those programs with businesses so they can be responsive to each other's needs and address specific skills that are needed in different industries. And I agree with this conversation that Long Island is the greatest place to live on earth, and we just have to keep supporting our businesses so they can grow and expand and integrating new technologies like artificial intelligence so it helps them create jobs, not displace them. So we're going to be figuring that out over the next couple of years, but there are real solutions out there. And if anyone would like to read our policy priorities, they could visit our website at longislandassociation.org.
James, not that we're at a tipping point, but do you think this problem has reached almost near crisis proportions where something definitely will have to be done and will be done?
Well, I think one of the real positives here is that we're talking about affordability. Affordability has come to the top of the agenda in Albany, in Washington, in Mineola, in Hauppauge. Businesses need government's help. They can't do it by themselves. We saw that during the pandemic. Government stepped in with loans and grants to sustain businesses. That allowed us to have the economy we have today. But the fact that affordability is something everyone is talking about is really important, because we know Long Island's been expensive for decades and affordability was not even on the agenda. So we can hope that this year we see action in Washington, Albany, Mineola, and Hauppauge.
Finally, Don, not really a question, but more a thought. Anything else jump out at you about the poll?
Well, one of the things, again, turning it on its head and looking at it from the employee standpoint, the business leaders are saying that many of the people come in and they're not ready. They want to hire people who are ready. They want to hire people who can come in day one, make a contribution. So the advice is get the training, get ready. The jobs then are there. And perhaps, the future on Long Island is there to those who are prepared to make an immediate contribution.
All right, very interesting conversation, important. Don, thank you. James and Stacey, we appreciate you talking about this important topic. And you can read more about this on Newsday.com. I'm Doug Gee. Thanks for watching.
We continue to highlight the jobs you do. In today's LI Works, Ken Bufa shows us how to make photo albums.
If you ever wondered how your digital memories are preserved, I want you to meet.
My name is Vic Melkonian. I'm doing this for over 35 years. I like my job. It's always a happy occasion.
Grab your photos, we're printing albums. For decades, Vic has processed nearly every type of image and says if you want to get into the processing business, you'd better brush up on your history.
I came from film and eventually we learned going towards digital. So you really have to know a little bit of everything.
Now, once printed, skills like textiles and design are developed next.
Then everything else after that is being done handmade, basically. We actually mount them one by one, every page by itself. And after it's done, it goes in under the press. It sits there for a while. Then we make the covers.
And on that cover, individual letters are assigned and aligned and pressed for custom orders. One, two.
That's good, yeah.
Look at that. Very nice. Newsday. That was a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you'll get better because you'll have to output images in the millions.
So that's 2 million this machine has done alone.
And if that's not hard enough, Vic says each batch of photos needs a careful eye to ensure the print matches just right.
They have to be patient for sure. Not every image is the same. You have to have some kind of artistic idea to look at things and understand this is different. I have to make the changes this way. So there's not one way of doing it. You have to kind of feel it, get it done for that one.
And you better move quickly because patience is great, but time is fleeting.
You have limited time to do. That creates problem because art, you really need a lot of time. Or you can't be tired when you're doing it, artwork. You have to be relaxed. If your mind is not there, you're not going to be able to produce well.
Vic says the stress, speed, and variety never really made an imprint on him. Because if there's one thing this business has taught him, negatives can always be worked with.
It's like when they receive something and they're so happy about their work and everything else, and it makes me happy.
Ken Bufa, Newsday TV.
You can see more LI Work segments on our website, newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. See more on these stories on Newsday.com and watch us streaming anytime on Local Now, YouTube, and the other streaming services you see here. I'm Macy Eglund. We've got more local news coming up.
Vision Zero is a global safety campaign aimed at ending fatal and serious crashes. Newsday investigates whether the strategy embraced by New York City and governments worldwide can work on Long Island. A vision for safety. Now available at newsday.com/dangerousroads.